Have you ever wondered if your gifts and talents could be the answer to someone else's prayers? Maybe you're sitting on something small, unsure of its value. But what if I told you God can multiply the little you have to bless not just you, but countless others? This is the story of Mark, a man who discovered how the words of 2 Kings 4 transformed his perspective and his life. Mark's story. Mark was a man who had everything society deemed successful: a stable career, a beautiful family, and a comfortable home. But something always felt off. Despite his outward success, Mark wrestled with a gnawing sense of emptiness. He often questioned, what's my purpose beyond the day-to-day grind? One Sunday, his pastor shared the story of the widow in 2 Kings 4, 1-7. Mark listened closely as the pastor described the widow's desperate situation. Her husband had died, creditors were threatening to take her sons as slaves, and all she had left was a small jar of olive oil. When she turned to the prophet Elisha, he gave her a strange instruction. Collect as many empty jars as possible and start pouring her oil into them. The widow obeyed, and to her amazement, the oil didn't stop flowing until every jar was filled. She sold the oil, paid off her debts, and saved her family. The story stuck with Mark. The phrase, "they brought the jars to her, and she kept pouring," 2 Kings 4:5, kept replaying in his mind. He began to reflect on his own life and realized he'd been hoarding his talents, unsure if they could truly make a difference. Mark had a knack for carpentry. It was something he loved but had always viewed as a hobby. One evening, he decided to pray and ask God how he could use this gift. The next day, an opportunity practically fell into his lap. A local shelter was looking for volunteers to help build furniture for families in need. Nervously, Mark signed up. As he worked, he discovered a deep sense of joy and fulfillment he hadn't felt in years. His simple acts of service opened doors for meaningful conversations with the families he helped. One mother shared through tears how her children finally had a dining table to sit at for meals. Mark felt a nudge in his spirit, a confirmation that God was using him. Over time, his efforts grew into a ministry. With every chair, table, or bed frame he crafted, Mark shared about the God who turns small jars of oil into abundant blessings. The more he poured out his time and talent, the more opportunities seemed to flow his way. Mark's life wasn't just about building furniture anymore. It was about building lives, one family at a time. Mark's story echoes the lesson of the widow's miracle. God can take what little we have and multiply it when we step out in faith. What gifts and talents has God entrusted to you? Are you using them to serve others, or are they sitting idle, waiting for the right moment? Remember, the widow's oil didn't multiply until she started pouring. What might God do through you if you began to pour out what He's already given you? Prayer. Dear God, thank you for the gifts you've placed in my life, no matter how small they seem. Help me to trust you with them and to use them to serve others for your glory. Multiply my efforts and let me be a blessing to those in need. Amen.